Welcome to Orange is the New Black, a podcast hosted by Zim Hude and your boy Ace Boogie. Zim, what's going on?
Nothing much, man. Just coming off of the honeymoon period, I guess, of close defeat to the Seattle Seahawks this past Sunday. Still very excited. We spoke on it last week, and he had some really good points. And I thought about it a lot, and I feel really, really encouraged moving forward.
Yeah, definitely. So we wanted to give you guys a little bit of a bonus segment. So this will be something short and sweet, but there's several topics that we kind of wanted to touch on. One thing we're talking with Zim that we wanted to talk about was Lou Anarumo and his performance week one. Zim, what are your thoughts on Lou? I personally thought that I'm not going to say that he reminded me of Mike Zimmer, but I can't remember a time where a defensive coordinator has been as dominant and has shown so many different looks outside of Mike Zimmer when it comes to the Bengals. But what are your thoughts on Lou?
Yeah, I channel that too, that same energy. From my standpoint, I feel like it's so cool because everybody didn't really know what to expect. And it was super cool just watching it as a fan and not even trying to analyze everything, just to see them doing something different, because I think a lot of the past regimes were just very scared to change. And a lot of people say that they want to do something different and they want to be a multiple defense, but they don't really live it and they don't really do it. And I mean, that could be a lot. That's a lot of teams that say that and they don't do it. So the reason I really wanted to highlight them today is because I felt like we finally converted. I mean, you can really say that's a 3-4 defense, and they did it. And you got guys doing some stuff that they hadn't done before, like Lawson dropping in the covers. Even Sam Hubbard had to drop in the covers like 4. Now, granted, it's only 3 or 4 times a game, but you could live with that because at the end of the day, your best players are still out there. So I think it's very important that we don't go another episode without mentioning the fact that Lou Anarumo is the player of the week for me. Like that was big. I mean, that was bigger than anything, just to see the change and someone actually execute it, and the players didn't seem confused, not one bit. And the one play that they were confused or it was a mix-up, they paid for it.
Right, exactly. I think you're right. If you would have told me that Tyler Lockett would have had, one catch and would have been shadowed by William Jackson III, which we kind of essentially predicted, which was crazy. And, the Bengals would come out and Sam Hubbard would have 10 tackles and 2 sacks. Like, it's just amazing what this man has done with the defense that was finishing in the bottom of the league basically last year, and adjusting that and doing things that we've always thought that they should do. Like you said, dropping a Carl Lawson or some of these guys into a 3-4 look. Also using William Jackson to shadow people. Also using Sean Williams as a linebacker, which I've been hearing. If you pay closer attention, he actually used Sean Williams as a linebacker. I haven't myself seen it, but I've heard a couple of fans that said that he actually tried that look as well. This week, I think, is going to be a big test for us because one of the things that have really killed the Bengals, like from the Zimmer era to the Gunther era to the failed era of last year with Terrell Austin, was the tight end position. And so we're going against arguably one of the best outside of Travis Kelce. You're talking about possibly the second most utilized, maybe the first most utilized tight end in the NFL. So when you talk about benchmarking where this defense will be and how they will guard against the tight end, this is the biggest test for that. And I can't wait to see what Lou's plan is for this guy, because looking at San Francisco, Kittle is their number one receiver. So I, just based off of last week and how the game plan came about, this is a coaching staff that really pays attention to the detail. And that also kind of segues into my next point is watching A.J. Green get interviewed today and talking about what a breath of fresh air and how smart Zack Taylor is. It's like at the same time he didn't want to, bring Marvin Lewis down or anything, but you can tell that he's excited to be a part of this offense. He's excited and kind of vocalized how Zack makes second half adjustments, in-game adjustments. Those are things that just got me pumped as a fan, just hearing which is crazy to say that, but after you dealt with, and a lot of people kind of got on us for talking about Marvin Lewis, he's no longer on the team, but you got to understand, we dealt with this guy for 16 to 17 years. You know, to finally have a guy that's out there actively making adjustments, actively using fresh ideas, actively doing things as fans that we've kind of called for is just a breath of fresh air. So that was cool hearing him talk about Zack. He mentioned how, you know, the game plans that Zack has is more so worked around actually conserving players. So you talk about Tyler Eifert only taking 50 of the snaps. There's no need for Tyler Eifert to take a gang of snaps, honestly. Like, that was just piss poor planning by the prior regime.
I think his snap count on this past game was, I want to say 30, and they were all at wide receiver. It was very key.
Right, exactly. And those are things that are smart. I know AJ talked about instead of having to run 80 plays, with the way that Zack runs things, he could, you know, basically run 40 plays a game. And he mentioned something talking about, which obviously he was probably joking, but he said he could play another 8 years based on Zack's offense. And it seemed that Zack's offense was just more efficient, more fluid, and more exciting for players in his system. And I mean, it just was cool. Like, I don't know if you probably saw it as well as them because you post all of the videos, but Carlos Dunlap is in this interview, interviewing AJ, talking about, you know, we could have 3 1,000-yard receivers this year. Like, they're joking, but just the fact that one of the leaders of your defense is there excited about the offense, like, that togetherness is something that I kind of feel like in the last regime they didn't have. It almost kind of seemed like it was defense versus offense and vice versa. They never were able to put both of them together. But what are your thoughts on, like, what AJ was saying? And we can kind of get into AJ's potential return after that, but what were your thoughts on him talking about Zack Taylor and his coaching staff?
Yeah, I have posted it too. If you guys don't know, I'm on Instagram primarily. I'm Zim_Hude. So if you ever get a chance, or you go on Instagram and check that out, I'm really, really active on there. But I posted a whole entire interview on there. But when you go on there, I wanted people just to understand what's going on. This is the first time that we've had AJ Green speak since he hurt his ankle in OTAs. He just got the boot off, so this is 9/11. He got the boot off, and he's even said that he's ahead of schedule and he started running. I was really, really excited just to see, like, how excited he was, you know, for the potential for him to hit all of these goals in this new office. And someone even asked him a question about being a 1,000-yard receiver, and he seemed like he still felt like he was on pace to do something like that. And when you look at the Rams offense, I mean, Cooper Kupp, Brandon Cooks, and Robert Woods, if you play fantasy football, they eat every week. And I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be the exact same. But I feel you, like, I think a lot of the younger players like Mixon and Pac-Man, I know they used to hang out a lot. Dunlap and John Ross, like, early on, I know they used to leave practice together and stuff like that. So I think it's the changing of the guards a little bit too, where you got some of the new guys that are going to be emerging, like Hubbard and stuff. You're probably going to see them paired up with some of the guys that they're familiar with from college and stuff like that early on too. But just the energy with everybody, which leads me into the next point that I had, was Tyler Boyd's comment to me was like, that was the comment of the week. So I don't know if AJ Green got interviewed before Tyler Boyd, but what did you think when you saw the Tyler Boyd comment about the Browns? And if people don't know what he said, Ace, tell everybody what Tyler Boyd was saying about the Browns, and just speak to the confidence you feel about that.
Basically, what Tyler Boyd said was, once AJ Green comes back, they're not going to be talking about the Browns anymore. And I loved it because
I got hype.
That's that energy that we need. Like, we've been getting kicked around this entire offseason, and it's funny because, you know, when you talk to other fans about the Bengals, they just were like, oh, you guys are, you know, going to win 3 games. You need to blow it up. I just honestly couldn't believe it. And so week one we went out and set this tone, and like you can't hide behind that false narrative now, and you can't hide behind the fact that it's a new day. You can't hide behind the fact that we've had these weapons forever, and now we actually have an offensive-minded coach that is going to do exactly what I envisioned this team would do in 2016 when they drafted John Ross and Joe Mixon. You can go back and look at my tweet, and I was just like, how is the NFL going to guard this offense? You're talking about A.J. Green, Tyler Eifert, Joe Mixon, John Ross, like Tyler Boyd, like that. I feel like injects excitement into the culture. Like, we have to be that dog. We have to be confident. And, like, I was tired of, in some regimes, of us not being confident. Like, we never had that self-confidence. So to hear Tyler Boyd come out and say that and take a shot at the Browns, like, I loved it personally. I just loved it.
And you know what's so crazy about the Browns, too, is I still feel as though Browns, to me, I know they look really, really bad. I still, in the back of my mind, I still feel like they're, to me, like just based off of what I saw at the end of last year and how they ended and then going forward or whatever, I still feel like they have a good chance to be like, if not first, second in the division. Now, where the chips fall, we're going to find out about the Ravens very shortly. But the one thing I can say is, for the people that were very kind of standoffish on Brown's success, the number one thing that they told me is that, hey, they're going to be undisciplined, they're probably not well coached, and all of those things came to fruition on week one. So if you're one of the people that didn't believe in the Browns, that would be the game, and that's what you would say, aha, I told you so. Because I'm talking about 16 penalties. They had one drive I watched on the replay where they had 4 consecutive defensive plays. You're just pretty much just inviting the defense. That's a whole entire football field. So, and I mean, like big penalties, 15-yarders, like all the way down the field. You got guys getting ejected. Kitchens is so like cool, laid back, and buddy with the players. And and think about this too. They sacrifice giving up Zeitler, and they sacrifice offensive line people to bring in Odell Beckham Jr. So when you talk about them playing like the Ravens or us from a front, the front offensive, just their blocking scheme or something, they better get it together, because the way that we played last week, we would absolutely annihilate their offensive line if they played anything like they played week one. And it might even look worse, because aside from that, we are offensive-minded team, whereas the Titans are more like punch you in the mouth, slow, methodical drives. Like, it could be some quick scores if they start arguing with each other and stuff like that. They're going to see a lot of different instances where we're not going to be – it might get ugly really, really fast in that instance. But then on the other end of it, I say they really did a lot of things on defense in the offseason from a free agency standpoint. And then you got Garrett, and you got these guys that are just super, super talented. So for me to see all of that talent just fall off a cliff, I'm not on that train yet. I still feel like their talent alone, they're definitely the most talented roster in the division. But to hear Tyler Boyd just say nobody's going to be talking about the Browns when A.J. Green comes back, I know from an offensive standpoint, fireworks, if they can put wins together and they're scoring 30-plus a game, it should look like the Rams, and we might not still get the coverage of a big team, but that would be the best part, I think, for us, is because we still might fly under the radar, but yet nobody wants to play a team that's capable of scoring 30, 40 every single thing. You know, like, I mean, those are the teams that kill us, our teams that just put up points.
Right.
And so I just thought that was really interesting, that Tyler Boyd. And I mean, it got me really hyped.
No, I have to agree with you on that. I also think one thing that sticks out of my mind is when Zack Taylor was, they talked to him in the offseason, and this was probably like 2 or 3 months ago. The first thing they said was like, hey, you guys aren't getting much coverage. Nobody's really talking about you guys. And he was just like, that's fine, but at the end of the day, they're going to have to come and play the Cincinnati Bengals. Like, and that attitude is just what I've been looking for. And it almost makes you want to believe that this thing is actually going to be real. Like, we don't have to go into games like a Pittsburgh on a primetime game and worry about, are the Bengals going to show up? Like based off of what we saw week one, which is only week one, but it was so drastically different from what we've been accustomed to that now I can feel confident that, oh, we could go into Pittsburgh on prime time and like blow the top off of them. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but I can feel confident in knowing we're not going to go into Pittsburgh unprepared and hand another game away to them. So I think like the fact that
I feel confident about Pittsburgh more than I've ever felt, just because of the uncertainty. They knew everything to do to beat us mentally and scheme wise, and we could never adjust to Antonio Brown. And now that he's not there, I don't know what DeAndre Johnson is looking. Deontay, whatever his name is, Johnson. He's got to be somebody that requires more than single coverage, because Juju alone, that's not the type of wide receiver that gets the Bengals. Like, I'm kind of looking ahead. Oh, that's another note. AJ Green, this is an inside. People have been asking this. We were just talking about AJ Green. I wanted to say this. His target date for his first game back is Monday night, Pittsburgh. I know that for a fact. That is his target date.
So if you guys heard that, that's why you need to come and listen to Orange is the New Black, because we have certain inside questions where we can talk to some of these players and have people who know these players, and we can give you straight from, not necessarily the horse's mouth. Sometimes it is from the horse's mouth, but you can get exclusive information. So as you just heard Zim report, his target date for where he wants to come back is going to be Monday night against Pittsburgh.
And if you go look it up too, Dave Lapham and people like that have said the same thing. But I know for a fact, AJ Green himself, his target date is Monday night. If you look at what he said too, he said 6 to 8 weeks is what they told him when he got the injury, but he's well above schedule. He's targeting week 4 return with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So it's very fitting that we just brought up the Steelers. If we're rolling on all cylinders then, especially from a defensive standpoint, I really don't think they stand a chance. Teams like the Ravens and then the Browns, because of their talent standpoint, even the Ravens don't really scare me, because I feel like that's fool's gold with the Dolphins, but at the same time,
right,
they do have a running scheme that does make you guess, and it does attack linebackers, and it does attack the things, some of our Achilles heels. It does do that, and I think we can force Lamar Jackson to throw. But the Browns, like I said, if you watch those games from last year, they just Nick Chubb ran so good on both of those games that it just made the defense so indecisive. If they're stopping the run, I really like the chances of that too. But the difference is this: Baker Mayfield, do not look at what he's done in his last game and try to say that is Baker Mayfield. It is not. Baker Mayfield is what you want from a fourth quarter standpoint, and somebody that does not let a bad performance get to him. I'm not saying that because I'm a Baker Mayfield fan. I'm just giving you the reality of it. That boy can ball.
Right. So with that being said, we're going to bring this to a conclusion, but you guys know where to find us. I'm on YouTube at New Stripe City. Zim is on Instagram at Zim_Hude. Be sure to follow us. Go and check out all of our episodes that we have. They're in on all platforms. So just go and find the Zim Hude Bengals pod feed. You can find us in there. And Zim, do we have anything that you want to say before we out?
Yeah, absolutely. On New Stripe City, if you're listening to this right now on YouTube, give them a thumbs up. Please give us thumbs up on New Stripe City's YouTube channel. It's very, very important that you do that. Please feel free to comment, even if it's bad or good. I love the bad comments. I love the good ones. I love it all. So please comment. Tell your friends. Share it. If you know a Bengals friend, please send it to them too. But please make sure that at the very least you're giving a thumbs up to the New Stripe City YouTube post, any podcast or any post that Ace puts on there, because it really, really helps out the cause, and we want to get you better content, and we want to get better shows for you. So it's really, really important you do that.
Right, definitely. And we're out. Who they?
Who there?